your 45th class of the session. We had done your 44th class of the session where we had done in the last section 1, section 2 and next section 3 we had done in the last one, which is your general awareness, marketing and your computer related work. Now we'll discuss about today. In today's class we starting off with the section 4, that is your English language. Here we have to continue with the starting discussing about the question, which is a 150.8. We have to start 150th question we had done in the last classes. If you had not visited yet, you can go ahead or with the playlist. You will figure it out each and every video there as well. So we go for this. Here you have to read the following passages carefully and answer the question given below it. Certain word phrases have been printed in bold to help you to locate them while answering some of the questions. So I just read out the whole paragraph so that you will write it down if you want to write it down, because it's a long, and if I am going to write it down on paper, so it will take, of course it will take 10 to 15 minutes, so it will be more long than your class. So you can write it on by your side, so if you are able to. The para is the governments have traditionally equated economic progress with steel mills and cement factories, while urban centers thrive and city dwellers get rich. Hundreds of millions of farmers remain mired in poverty. However, fears of food shortage, a rethinking of anti-poverty priorities, and a crushing recession in 2008 are causing a dramatic shift in world economic policy in favor of greater support for agriculture. Whereas the last time when the world's farmer felt such love was in 1970s. At that time, as food prices spiked, there was a real concern that the world was facing a crisis in which the planet was simply unable to produce enough grain and meat for an expanding population. Government across the developing world and that international aid organization plowed investment into agriculture in the early 1970s, while technological backward, their breakthrough like high yield strains of important food crops boosted production. The result was the Green Revolution and the food production exploded. But the Green Revolution became a victim of the own success. Food price plucked by some 60% by the late 1980s from their peak in the mid 1970s. Policymakers and aid workers turned their attention to the poor's others pressing is in the bold needs such as health care and education. Farming gets starved of resources and investment. By 2004, aid directed and agriculture sank to 3.5% and agriculture lost its glitters. Also, as a consumer is in high growth giant such as China and India became wealthier, they began eating more meat so grain once used for human consumption were diverted to beef up livestock. By early 2008, panicked buying by importing countries and restrictions slapped is also in the bold on grains export was some big producers helped drive prices up to the heights unseen for 3 decades, making matter versus land and resources got relocated to produce the cash crops such as your biofuels, and the result was that voluntarious reserves of here that is given grain evaporated is in the bowl, so that protest broke out through across the emerging world, and the fires food riots toppled government. This spurred global leaders into action, and this made them aware that the food security is one of the fundamental issues in the world that has been dealt with in the order to maintain the administrative and the political stability. This also spurred that spurred the U.S., which traditionally provisional food and from towards investing in the farm sector around the globe to more gradual production for themselves and to be the better position to feed their own people. So for that, it will be Africa, which messed up out on the first Green Revolution due to the poor policy and the limited resources, and also witnessed a change where the swayed by the success of East Asia, the primary vote fighting method favored by many policymakers in Africa was to get the farmers off their farms and into the modern jobs in factories and urban centers, but that strategies proved to be highly insufficient. Income levels in the countryside badly trailed through those in the cities, while the FAO reached at all the time high more than 1 billion. That estimated that the number of the poor going hungry in 2009 reached an all-time high at more than 1 billion. In India, on the other hand, with only say 40% of its farmer land irrigated, entire economic that boom correctly underway in the held hostage by the unpredictable monsoon, with much of India farming area suffering from drought this year. The government will have a tough time meeting its economic growth targets. In the report, Goldman Sachs predicted that if this year to receive weak rains, it could cause agriculture to contract by 2% this fiscal year, making the government 7% GDP growth target look a bit rich. That has been in the bold. Another revolution, green revolution, is the need of the hour, and to make it the reality, the global community still has much backbreaking farm work to do. That is the whole paragraph that I am going to I had just told you about. That will be right, because I had done each and everything in a very slow manner so that you can write it down if you are able to. Now we go for directly the question here, which is your 151th question of the session. The question is, what motivated the US to focus on investing in agriculture across the globe? So with this para, with the help of this para, you have to answer it out. So it is important to write the para when you are going through with the English language one. So the options are to make developing countries become more relevant on US aid. The second is to ensure the grain surplus so that the US had no need to import food. The third is that to make those countries more self-sufficient to whom it previously provided food. The fourth is that to establish itself in the market before the high growth giants such as India and China could establish themselves. And the fifth is the none of the above. So you have to answer it out accordingly. You have to go on through with the same, and you have to figure it out which of the following will be the right answer for this. So no problem, you have to answer to the questions here, and which is of course being important one that you have to answer it out. So while going through one of the things in an easy way, it's a huge request to please solve these questions by your side as well, so it will be helpful for you. Let's go for it. The question is 151 question. The question is, what motivated the US to focus on investing in agriculture across the globe? So the options we have, the first is that we have as follows. To make developing countries become more reliant on US aid. The second is to ensure grain surpluses so that the US had no need to import food. The third is to make those countries more self-sufficient to whom it previously provided food. The fourth is another one, to establish itself in the market. Before the high growth giants such as India and China could establish themselves fifth is none of the above. for that, here we go for the same. The right answer for this solution. So you have to refer to the second and the third sentence of the fourth paragraph. So answer will be the fifth one, which is none of the above. Now we go for the next one, which is the 152th question of the session, and that we have as follows. What is the author trying to convey through the phrases and making the government 7% GDP growth target look a bit rich? This is the last paragraph that we are talking about. The options are: India is unlikely to achieve the targeted growth rate. The second is the allocation of funds to agriculture has raised India's chances to having a high GDP. The third is the agriculture growth has artificially inflated India's GDP and such growth is not real. The fourth is India is likely to have one of the highest GDP growth rate. The fifth is a large portion of India's GDP is contributed by agriculture. So that all we have 5 options, so we have to answer it out among them. So let's go for the same without wasting time. Here we go. So one by one we will be going for the same. 152th question of the session. And that we have as follows. So 152. What is the author trying to convey through the phrase making the government's 7% GDP growth target look a bit rich. The first one is India is unlikely to achieve the targeted growth rate The second is allocation of funds to agriculture has raised India's chances of having a high GDP. The third one we have is your agricultural growth has artificially inflated India GDP, and such growth is not real. The fourth is India is likely to have one of the highest GDP growth. Rates. The fifth is a large portion of India's GDP is contributed by agriculture. Let's go for the C. So here we have an answer that is being as follows. We are referred to the second and the third sentence of the last para. You will get the answer, and that is sure the first will be the right answer for this question. Now we go for the next one, which is the 153rd question of the session, and that we have as follows. So 153rd question we have, what is the author main objective in writing the passage? उनका क्या main objective था? Option is that to criticize developed countries for not bolstering economic growth in poor nation. Second is to analyzing the disadvantages of the green revolution. Third is to persuading the experts that a strong economy depends on the industrialization and not agriculture. Fourth is to making a case of international society to engineer the second green revolution. The fifth is the rationalizing the faculty agriculture policy of emerging the countries. So let's go for the same, and that we have as follows. So here we go. The 153rd question of the session. And that we have as follows here. What is the author main objective in writing the passage? The first day we have an option. Criticizing developed countries for not balls trading, economic growth in poor nation, the second is analyzing the disadvantages of the Korean Revolution. The third is persuading experts that a strong economy depends on industrialization and not agriculture. Fourth is marketing, making a case for the international society. To engineer a second revolution. Second, green revolution. The fifth is rationalizing the faulty agriculture. Policies of emerging countries. So for that, here we have the answer that we have to go through with, and the answer for this, it will be refer to the last sentence of the passage, and that will give you the answer, and the right answer for the same, it will be the fourth one. That will be the right answer for this question. So now here we're going to end up with. Thank you. Hope you enjoy this video. If you like this video, please give a thumbs up and give a suggestion in the comment box, and please like, share and subscribe so that many and maximum people can get the information at once. And remember, you can also enjoy the video as well. Thank you. Please support us.